And so we're back after this short video break. There are some more questions for Christina, and she joined the Global AI Cafe. So if you have any questions, you can go to there to ask them to her. So we are ready for the next session, and we have two speakers now. We have Luisa Gonzalez and Sharif Nassar, who are both going to talk about how you can analyze unformatted text faster using Azure Cognitive Services. So before we get started, can you both briefly introduce yourselves? And then can I start with you, Luisa? Welcome.
Hi, yes, thank you so much. Yes, I am Luisa. I'm a student ambassador of Microsoft. Currently, I'm living in Dallas, Texas, and I am doing my master's in information technology and management. And originally, I'm from Colombia.
Okay. And you, Sharif?
Yeah, hi everyone. Hello. Hola, hola a todos. My name is Sharif. I'm a Gold Student Ambassador, and also I'm really happy to be here today to talk about Azure Cognitive Services, which is an amazing tool that I really love using.
I totally agree on that. So shall we go and start with your session then?
Yeah, sure.
Yes,
Okay, good
definitely.
luck. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let me share my screen. Mm. Mm.
Okay, thank you, Lisa. So
You are.
again, welcome everyone. Welcome to this session on Analyze Unformatted Text Faster using Azure Cognitive Services. As I said, I really love using the Azure Cognitive Services, and in this event, Luisa and I, had the chance to show you and start using what are the text analytic services about in Azure, right? So we already introduced ourselves. As I said, I'm Sharif Nasser. Just a little bit about me. It's that I'm on my last year of my digital systems and robotics engineering degree on school. And well, I leave you also all my social handles in case you want to connect on social media. As also Luis already presented herself, I'm also leaving all her social handles for you to connect.
Yes.
So let's see what is going to be today's agenda. Today we're going to be talking about what is Azure Cognitive Services. There is a special category called the language services in general, and then we're going to be talking about specifically the text analytics services in here. Also, we're going to tell you about how you can start using your Azure for Students subscription to start doing what we're going to be showing you today. For today, we have an amazing demonstration prepared for you that I'm really sure that you're going to love. To introduce what are the Azure Cognitive Services? Well, it is a cloud-based services to build cognitive intelligence into custom applications. Actually, you don't need to have a PhD in artificial intelligence. You don't require a lot of months to learn about what is AI, what is natural language processing. You don't require actually years. You can start doing AI today. You can start exploiting the advantages of using and the benefits of using AI today by just using this API that it's actually really easy to use, and that you're going to see how you can infuse that AI into your applications. Any application that you may be developing, you can start just adding the benefits of AI to it in a few hours. Also, only in a matter of a day, you can actually also create your own app, and now we're going to be showing you how. So there are some categories around Azure Cognitive Services that are very important: vision, speech, knowledge, and language. For each of one, there are a lot of services on computer vision, on analyzing text to speech, speech to text, taking decisions, and everything. Today, we're going to be talking specifically about languages services in general. For this category, there are some services available. For example, the language understanding, which is called LUIS. Also, the Immersive Reader service. There's also a translator and a Q&A maker that can also help you build a question and answer service for your applications. Right now I'm going to be leaving you with Lisa, who is going to be talking to you about the text analytics services that we're going to be seeing today.
Yes. The text analytics service basically provides natural language processing over raw text. So inside of that, we have different services like sentiment analysis, which help us to determine whether data is positive, negative, or mixed, like a combination between both. Also, we can get services of opinion mining, which is like a feature of sentiment analysis, but it's like more, it gives you more insights of the text or like the sentence, because it provides like a specific information for each sentence inside of a paragraph or inside of the text. So here we have an example. So we have like the phrase, the room was great, but the staff was unfriendly. So we have the sentiment analysis that like in general says is negative, but in the opinion mining we can separate each phrase and say, oh, this part is positive, this part is negative. Also, we have language detection that help us to evaluate with like the language of the test, and entity recognition, which basically it's separated in three. Like you have like the option to use a name entity recognition to recognize like an object or like a class, like person, location, or event inside of the test. Entity linking, which give you like links inside of the online to give you more insights about what is the main topic in the test. And usually it brings you links from Wikipedia. And personally identifiable information, that's basically information that can be used to identify like a person, like you can see phone number, email, or address. And finally, we have key phrase extraction, with takes the unstructured text for each document and returns just like a list of key phrases. So for example, from this phrase, we have the food, and wonderful stuff. So now we are gonna get to the hands-on real quick, and I have that ready, prepared here. So first, if you wanna create like a cognitive service, you just go to Azure portal and create like a resource and search cognitive services. Oh, wait, I just clicked the one that was. Yeah, cognitive services. And create the service, right? So here you're gonna select what's your subscription, then you can create like a new resource group. So we are gonna use global AI resource, Lu, just in case somebody have the same name. We are gonna select the region, so Central US, and then we are gonna select the name of our service. So let's say global AI, right? And then you're gonna select standard SO, O or 0, and then you check here and check here. Then you can review and see if everything is good to create the service, and you can hit create. So while we wait that our deployment to be ready, we can go to Power Apps, and we are gonna start like a Canvas app. In here, I'm just gonna basically give a name. Let's say Global AI Luisa and Sharif. Well, Luisa, Sharif. And then format, like you can select tablet. So create. Let me just do this bigger, just in case. So yeah, we already created our Power Apps Canvas to start, and we have already our deployment on Microsoft Azure. So we can just go to our resource and go to keys and endpoints, and here you're gonna find all of the information you will need to connect to your service. So here in our, let's close this. here in our canvas, we go to here, like to our data section, and we just click add data, and you select test analytics service, and you can click add connection or add new connection. So for that, you will need the key that you get here. So your key, and then you will get your endpoint as well. Then you just paste your endpoint, and then you hit connect, right? So now we are loading our test analytics service on Power Apps, and we can start just doing something, right? So let's go ahead and add just a simple, let's just add text input where we are gonna put our test, or like the text we want to analyze. And we can just create as well a button that is gonna trigger all of our information, right? So I'm just gonna change a little bit. Use Power Apps is as simple as use PowerPoint or even Excel. So it's not that hard, and you can learn like really fast. Simple things. You can also follow tutorials and Microsoft Learn. You can get a lot of documentation on that. Let me just change that as well. That's great. So we have our text input where we're gonna put like the test to be analyzed. And then we have our button that's gonna trigger all the our like information. So now, now we can add a text label just to print our result, right? So let's just change that too. Great. So here first, to start doing our demo, we are gonna basically create our first variable to start calling to call our service and send information to our service. So here we are gonna create a variable that is called language info using clear collect, a function from Power Apps, where we can each time that we call like the function, it's gonna create itself, right? So here we are basically creating language info, and we are sending these params that are like needed for calling the API. So here we can add like an ID, just like a file name, or like an identifier for the for here for sending to the API, and then like a country hint is like giving context to our API about what is the location, or like the more information about the test that's gonna be entered. And then here we just put the name of our test, or like our input test. So for example, here we have text input 1, so we can just rename it as text input. And I have that text input. And now we are getting that information for our test. Then we just gonna create another variable that is basically the collection of our analytics service. And in this, we are gonna send our language information variable, right? So basically, when we say text analytics, that's language v3, we are calling the API, and we are sending these params to start the API. And then we are, from the information we get from there, we are capturing the documents and then the detected language. So if we wanna add our like what is being recognized or detected language in our test, we basically can do we are getting like our collection, like the response of the API, and we are getting the detected language. And from that, because each text brings you, if there are multiple language in the test, so you can get like all of the language that are inside of it. So it returns you like a table. So we are just getting the first, the one that is most inside of the test. In this case, we're gonna just use English. So it's gonna be English. So we just use the first line of that information, and then detected language, that name. So we are gonna expand this a little bit, and then we can just go ahead and try our first test. So we can say like, I love my like I loved the room, but I hated the customer service. So we wait for the API response, and then you see that it's telling you like, oh yes, this is English. So another thing we can do is we can add just like a gallery, um, and this gallery can be just, let me go back here. Our gallery can be just title and subtitle, and then we can just put it like smaller and then move it here. So to this gallery, we are gonna pass a collection. In this case, we are gonna create in our button, the one that's triggering everything, we are gonna create a collection for the sentiment analysis, or like a sentiment score. So for that, we are gonna do the same thing. First, let me just change the name of our text input. So first, we are creating a collection of sentiment collect. We are just giving a name. So I'm just gonna give like sentiment ID in this case. And then the same thing, we have to send like a hint or like an insight to the API about what's gonna be input. And then we use language English. And then we are just passing to the API the test. So to that collection, we are going to create the sentiment collection, and it's the same thing. We are going to call the API, but in this case, we're going to call the sentiment version 3 like API, and we are going to pass the sentiment information. And we, based on that response, we're going to get documentation, like the documents. That is how you have like your response. And then for our gallery, we can delete basically this arrow and this thing. We just need the title and subtitle. And for that, to the gallery, we are gonna pass. You can change here and like the collection. So in this case, we are gonna use sentiment collection or sentiment collect. And in our title, we are gonna get that sentiment collect, and we are gonna print our sentiment collect response. So in this case, we are gonna say like sentiment score and this item, which means the collection, that sentiment, what is the value of it. And I use proper the function, which helped me to capitalize the first letter of the test. And the subtitle, I am just gonna get like more insights about each sentence, like about what is the score for negative, what is the score for positive, or like the score for neutral. So for that, you are doing the same, this item, the collection, and you are getting the information from the confidence scores, dot negative. And because this comes from like 0-point value, so I just multiplied by per 100. And then the same for natural and positive. So now we can just try this. And then let me just do on this. Okay, like let's do however. Okay, however, instead of but. I wanna separate. So if we click here in the button, we basically have like our sentiment score. It's saying it's mixed because let me just, oh no, I cannot. Yeah, it's mixed because we're saying, oh, I love the room, but however, I hated the customer service or I didn't like it. So basically is have like two sentences, and inside of them you have like a mix, I don't know, emotions. So you're getting, oh, negative score was 50, and then a neutral score positive, and I didn't get the other score. Let me see. Positive, neutral, it didn't. Oh, wait. Oh, I think I need to do this. Oh, no, bigger. Yes. Negative, neutral score. Oh, yeah. Neutral score and positive. That's why it was. So now if we see, yeah, now we are displaying. So negative score 50, neutral score 0, and positive score 50%. So yeah. And yes, if you as you see, use this API is really easy, and I use it in Power Apps as well. It just takes a little bit of training and research, but you can do it. And then you can get, after like practicing and doing some research, you can get to something like this. So here I have an example. So let's say I use the same phrase. Well, let's do that. I loved the room. However, I did not like the customer service, right? I will return or something like that. I just don't know. So let's just try. And this is the same thing that we basically just did: get the language detected and get the sentiment score like mix, and then you can see like the percentage for each sentiment score, like neutral score, negative, neutral, and positive score. And for example, here I have something more like specific for each sentence. So as you see, I love the room is positive. However, I did not like the customer service negative, and then sentence I will return is like neutral. So yeah, that's basically it with the hands-on. And I'm gonna go back here to our presentation. And yeah.
That was an amazing presentation, Luisa. I really love your demonstration. And guys, you can actually start doing the same yourself. It just took a couple of hours to Luisa to have all of this set up. That application that she showed you at the end just took her around 2 hours to be completed. And we weren't actually experts on text analytics services before creating and preparing this presentation for you guys. So just a quick reminder for you that you can do this, and you have actually access to a lot of resources. If you're a student and you have a student account, you can access the Azure for Students benefit, and you will find that there are a lot of benefits around using the Azure Cognitive Services with that subscription. We were using today our student ambassador subscriptions in the demonstration, but you can also use your Azure for Students subscription to do everything that you've seen today.
Yes, definitely. And my subscription did not use a lot of Azure credits for using the APIs. I guess less than $1, and all the trials that I've been doing. So definitely. Then these are basically the resources that we used. And thank you so much. I think we have time for Q&A. Alam. Okay.
Yes, thank you for your session. We have some time for Q&A, and we also have some questions for you. Let's start with the first one. One question is, can you help me understand when to use the text API and when to use the read API?
The text API, or, sorry, didn't hear the second option.
Or the read API.
Oh, well.
Oh, the read API. Yeah. Do you want to take this, Lisa, or do I take it?
Well, maybe you can take it.
Okay, perfect. The Reader API is as it says, is about reading text. An Immersive Reader is a way in which you can hear the text that you're actually reading in real time. That can help you, for example, read a book, a study that actually can help with some disabilities. And the text analytics services is more related to the part of analyzing that text and getting information from it, getting some insights on that text. Today, we saw how you can extract sentiment information on that. If that text is positive, is negative, it has more of a neutral sound. You can also start extracting, for example, entities in your text. You can extract important information. For example, what is the main topic of that text? You can pretty much understand what is that main topic. You can also, in the text there are names, there are numbers, there are some as we said, entities. You can use text analytics to start extracting what are those entities, which may be, for example, the number of the name of a famous person, a number, a percentage, a location, a famous location, popular place, and that's what you can get to use the text analytics services. It's actually analyzing text. Meanwhile, the immersive reader is more on the side of reading that text, of giving a speech to that text, having some sound on it.
Okay, clear. Yeah. Thank you for the clear explanation of it. Another question. Can we also delete a service after the creation, and how can you delete it?
Yes, you can definitely go to Portal Azure and just go to the service that you want to delete, and then just click delete. There will be like an icon, like I'm not sure the name of it. I'm not sure if it says delete, but yeah, definitely you can hit like, oh yes, delete, get rid of this service, and then you will get like a pop-up in the Portal Azure service saying like, are you sure of it? Yes, I'm sure. So yeah, definitely, and you can delete that from the Portal Azure.
Okay, great.
But yeah. Make sure if you do that, because if you have like something that is calling to the API, like an application or something, and then you just delete that, you will lose all the access to it. Of course, your application will not work. So yeah.
No, that's a good one to mention that as well. Thank you. What are your thoughts on using AI Builder than using Azure?
Okay,
I think Sharif can answer this.
Yeah, I can take it. AI is an amazing tool. Also, it actually has a lot of a similar functionality than we were seeing today on cognitive services. There is kind of a difference. AI Builder is more related to low code development, in which you don't require to be writing code as much code as we were writing today. The code that Luisa was writing today is actually easy code. It still is low code development, but cognitive services might be more related to the people who want to have more access to that coding part of your programs. You can not only use these cognitive services on Power Apps as we saw today. Cognitive services allow you to have one same API, that key that Luisa used in Power Apps. She could have used that key in a mobile application, in a web application. She could have used it on any program that she might be running. For example, I run projects on a Raspberry Pi, and I can connect my API on that application that I created for my Raspberry Pi pretty much anywhere which has a connection to internet, so it can call the API and start using that information. And meanwhile, the difference is that AI Builder is more related to Power App and low code development. So it depends on what kind of applications you want to use and what is the context of that application that you're creating.
Okay. Yeah, great. Yeah. I personally really love that you were using Power Apps to show this demo. Really, really nice. There are some more questions, but for the sake of time, I asked you to look at the chat, and maybe you can answer them over there. And I think you are also both going to join the cafe, right? The Global AI Cafe. So attendees can ask their questions over there as well. So for this, I'm going to hand over to you, Kunal. You can introduce our next speaker, right? Thank you both, Luisa and Sharif. Great session.
Thank you.